Homestuck has destroyed more lives than weed ever has, while weed might make you do something like this. So I was thinking, man, what if God is a chick? I mean, it says he in the Bible, but a bunch of old dudes were the only people writing back in the day, so what's to say some of those old dudes weren't just writing whatever shit they wanted God to say? I mean, he or she, man, don't forget God could totally be a she. She totally made God, man, fallible. Some old dudes could totally done that. But she didn't make the devil have free will. So what if Satan's just God's best disciple and is just doing his job, man? What if, man? I mean, why did God make the devil so much stronger than a man if she didn't intend for his influence to change what we think, man? I'm just saying, maybe what we think is just because the devil... It's a boy! Dude, what? No, man, we already went over this. She's a she. Homestuck will make you do this. Hey, baby, let me tell you about Homestuck. Trust me when I say that joke look a lot better in my script. The point is that you can be a somewhat functional human being while high, though Homestuck makes basic tasks almost impossible. People have complained in the past that I make these videos without looking at the source content at all, and I'm an asshole who's just shitting on things that other people like without giving it a fair chance. True. Although I'm not going to rag on Homestuck this entire time, because much like everything else in this series, I haven't really experienced it much firsthand. I loved MS Paint Adventures partly because I love stupid comedy and noir fiction, and because I got into it right when Andrew Hussey started it. I love the interactivity with his fan base, and I love the tangential spins that it would go on. Makes sense, however, that at both the end of the MS Paint Adventures and the entirety of Homestuck, he would take full control over the comic, allowing him to have full creative control over what he felt like was the best idea for the story. I heard about Homestuck the way most people have, through a friend telling me it existed, and then the internet shitting out 1,000 things for me to sift through, like I'm Indiana Jones on the way to get to the Golden Idol at the end. I read all the way up to about the end of Act 1 or so, and it was at that point I started asking, how far behind am I in this? I should be getting close to the end, right? And then I stumbled across this GIF set. Yes, I pronounce it GIF, fuck you. That explained that it was over 500,000 words long, which is 60,000 words less than Atlas Shrugged, which, by the way, if you're watching Ayn Rand, which I know you aren't because you're dead, thank fucking God. If I have the choice to read an unrealistic fantasy novel about sexually repressed people overcoming a perceived adversary, I'll stick to one with orcs. I'm looking at you, Gandalf. I've read better shit on fanfiction.net, with better Mary Sues than any of the ones that are in your shitty books. The point is that just like how I tried to read that piece of trash to figure out what all the hubbub was about and failed, I also failed to read all of Homestuck. You see, as a person with severe dyslexia, the idea of reading over 500,000 words in a poorly formatted chat log is about as appealing as eating a bowl of nails. So I stopped reading it, and before you ask, I know that it apparently gets better after the first act, but since the comic has continued to increase in word count, I'll be fucked if I ever try and read it again, but here are some things I do know about it. A nerdy kid named John Egbert sits down at his computer to talk to his friends who have recently found out about this game called Superb, which has the ability to influence reality. It turns out they fucking suck and fail immediately, which makes them destroy the world. GG, well played. Last time I saw someone complete something that quickly was at EGDQ. What, did you think I was gonna make a premature ejaculation joke? Y'all need to get your heads out of the gutter. Cocker Spaniels are not a part of this story, but there are some dogs in it, which gets to a bit of the story that I don't really understand, which is the family trees of any of the fucking characters, because this world ends and somehow restarts the game or something, and they try and do it right this time, except for instead of doing that, they become their own grandparents and talk about the insane clown posse. On a related note, let's talk about character design for a second, because I'm not gonna even try and get anyone's names right. That's what happens when you inbreed to the point that you are your own grandmother or grandfather. You look exactly the same as everyone else in your family, because you are your own family. It's fucking weird, and you can't tell me otherwise. The main characters are the Eggman Dave Strider, this narcoleptic cat chick, and this goth chick. Eggs is a nerd. Dave Strider is trying too hard to be a cool hipster, and I've been informed that anyone who cosplays as him is a total... I don't know anything about the personalities of the other two, but suffice to say that they probably do more than the other two, because the amount of fan art for the goth chick is insane. Also, spoiler, she marries a troll. In related news, in this universe there are literal internet trolls who have a very complex society and in government probably. This is mostly based around the fact that they have no real parental structure, but instead have a strange monster that looks after them. The trolls pull rank on each other based on the color of their blood, ranging from I don't know to I don't care. These trolls give the main character shit while trying to help them not fuck up the game this time like their parents did, and probably their grandparents the time before that, which means that they've actually fucked up twice. Everyone in this story is fucked up at least twice at this point. Much like everything else that the trolls do, they have a very complex system of dividing up their feelings for each other. I had this explained to me by one of the streamers on Vinesauce, Jen, once, but I totally forgot most of this information. This chart has love, hate, would fuck, wouldn't fuck, and leaves room for hate fuck and friend fucks. This is represented by the playing card suits. Anyways, some trolls are more important than others. I know that one drinks Fago and is a useless juggalo, one gets angry all the time, it's called Kakarot and is a total shitter, and another one has a huge horse cock. That last one may not be canon, but the amount of Homestuck smut that has mercilessly attacked my eye hole since it came out has left that image in my head for the rest of time. Every troll and some humans are identified with an astrological sign which is separate from their name. Every troll also has a typing quirk which involves a constant theme of them mangling text like an early 2000s elite hacksaw or anything that world-famous artist Raymond Pettibon has ever tried to tweet. Speaking of art, I'll give credit where credit is due. The art in this comic has gone from okay to amazing in a very short amount of time, relatively speaking. This is a webcomic, so a lot of experimentation can be done as far as the form, and demands for faster and faster content is insane. So when you sit back and actually look at the quality of the content over the amount of time they actually had to develop it, is actually really impressive to see what he was able to accomplish. I believe that these changes were possible due to the fact that Toby Fox was brought on and apparently locked in Andrew Hussey's basement while working non-stop on animated portions and several other parts of the webcomic. I have to assume that meetings between Andrew and Toby went something like this. Hey, Animation Gremlin. It's Toby, sire. Animation Gremlin, how's that huge fight scene going? It's almost complete. Oh, okay, well, can you change the purple machete to a green chainsaw? I feel like green chainsaws are really in with the kids right now. I'd have to reanimate the whole thing, sire. It could take days, weeks, or we need to get that fight up and out the door. Tumblr is getting really angry and drawing all sorts of weird porn to compensate for how much I'm blue-balling them right now. Well, how soon do you want it? Tomorrow at 3. I don't think it can be done. I have to redo all the tweening and come up with a new concept art for this chainsaw. I'm hearing a lot of excuses and not a lot of solutions. I'm sorry, sire. Just get it done. Sir, wait, I'm very hungry. Here's some spaghetti. I'll give you more once it's done. Thank you, sire. Get to work. I want to take a moment to point out the brilliance of Andrew Hussey. He knows exactly how he can get his audience to want more and more of his content. First, he announced that all fan trolls are canon, because why not? And then he decided to take that one step further during the Kickstarter of his Homestuck game that he promised to have 2 lucky backers who paid $10,000 each or more to have their troll character in the comic, which he kept his word on, and then within 2 panels destroyed them via a large explosion. Well played, Mr. Hussey. I bow down to your master-level tomfuckery. Speaking of, the game is probably one of the things that I know the most about. This is primarily because one of my most popular videos, King's Quit, which has all the audio files broken to the point of hilarious results, so when the new King's Quest game came out by the developers The Odd Gentleman, I was sent tons and tons of messages on Tumblr and email about their shady dealings. Now, take this with a grain of salt because I don't know the full situation, nor do I know very much about video game development, but they are originally the devs of Hiveswap, which was the Homestuck game, but shit went south somehow. Whether this was from poor budgeting or underfunding is hard to say, but the entire blame for the lack of the Homestuck game up until this point has been completely thrust upon The Odd Gentleman, and claims of them taking the money and running with it swirled endlessly on Tumblr, which has now ended up in my inbox with several people asking me not to play the game because they, quote, took the money from Hiveswap and made a King's Quest game instead, which isn't the reason that I decided not to stream it. Actually, it's because I realized I would actually have to play the game and it wouldn't end up being a clusterfuck of audio like this.
He sees none. The harpies are Gran, vicious creatures whom Gran could never.
I'll take care of you, Cedric.
Here's some random things that I should mention, but don't know enough about to be able to explain them. Squiddies, these weird dragon things, this green guy who I think is the bad guy, and sweet bro hella Jeff. Speaking of it keeps happening, I constantly fuck up the basic parts of the story in the series, and mainly because I just don't do any research on the subject. I just let the series write itself based on wild assumptions and the osmosis of the zeitgeist that is around it. Sort of how I wrote every paper for school. To fill in any remaining gaps, I asked the 2 people that I know who have actually read the entire thing, Mental Jin and I'm a Cooney, both streamers on Vinesauce with me and a bunch of other jackasses, to tell me something they know about. They both have fan trolls, so they know what they're talking about. I'm not going to give them a lot of time to explain this because why would I ever want to actually look into what I'm doing? Why would I ever want to know anything about the subject I'm talking about? I just let words come out of my mouth until it seems like it's appropriate to stop. Here's their response based on the limited amount of time that I actually spent asking them questions about Homestuck. I decided to do this in the only way that seems fitting for a Homestuck video, and that is a long, lengthy conversation via an IRC chat. In this case, I decided to use Discord instead. There you go. Now I know those things, although I'm recording this in advance so they won't be in the video. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what I got right, let me know what I got wrong, and let me know what you want me to cover next in the comments so that way I can improve this series and continue to be shit at my job. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.